Hey guys, how many of you have ever contemplated or maybe explored adoption and then found yourself thinking, man, that's an expensive endeavor. How in the world do people pay for something like this? Well, if that's the case, you're going to want to stick around because that's exactly what we're going to cover next on this week's bonus session of Manly Moments. Well, if I'm honest, I've not been adopted, and I've never adopted a child in my life. Fortunately, I know someone who's experienced both. It's my good friend and both hands director, JT Olson. Come on in, JT.
Hey, Robbie.
How's it going?
Great.
JT and I go way back. We used to work together years ago for the Southwestern Company out of Nashville, Tennessee, where JT was my boss and was also played a very instrumental role in my life.
Hey, don't put all the blame on me.
I wouldn't think of it. JT is a man among men, a great leader, a motivator, and a good friend, and I'm so thrilled to finally have you on an episode of Manly Moments.
Glad you're here.
Well, good. Let's get started, shall we? Now, you were born and raised on a farm in Iowa. You had a mom, a dad, siblings, a good life, and then something dramatic happened at age 12 that changed your life. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, like I said, I was 12 years old. It was March of 1969, and I remember this weekend my mom and dad left to celebrate their 16th wedding anniversary. And tragically, on the way home, they lost their life in a car accident.
Man, what a bummer.
That's one way of putting it.
So I'm curious, does it rain a lot in Iowa?
What? Does that?
Yeah, I heard like the thunderstorms come through. What do you talk? Remember the Music Man? They took that to Iowa.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about my upbringing.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so you became an orphan. Then what happened?
Well, then my aunt and uncle, who lived in Milwaukee, had 3 kids of their own. They took all 5 of us in, and they adopted us. They raised us.
Milwaukee. Do they still make Schlitz beer in Milwaukee?
Yeah, but
the beer that made Milwaukee famous. Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah. But what's that got to do with any of this?
Okay, let's stay on track here. Go back to the story. So you were born in Iowa, lost your folks, moved to Milwaukee. Then what happened?
You're not much for details, are you?
It's a short video, not a documentary. We got to cut to the chase.
All right.
Now, speaking of adoption, you and your wife Sarah eventually adopted a child yourself years later. Tell us about that.
Well, like I said, I was on the board of Bethany Christian Services, and I was kind of surrounded. I was surrounded by adoption. Knew a lot of people who were adopting. We already had 4 kids. Raising them, I thought we were all set and everything, but it kept creeping in there, and she would talk about adoption. I'd talk about adoption, but I wasn't real sure because we just started a company. And, if we were going to do adoption, it would have to go into our life savings. It would cost us everything, and I always asked my wife, I said, do you want to use our life savings? And it would kind of quiet her down, but even at night, the kids, I'd put them to bed, and they'd be praying, dear God, please let Dad let us adopt and everything. And I remember so clearly the night. It was December 24th, 2001. I headed to the attic to get the stockings to hang by the chimney with care. And I get to the attic and I look around and I see a playpen, I see strollers, I see high chairs. And the thought hits me, we've got everything we need to raise another child. What's wrong with using a life savings to save a life?
He's good. So I'm curious, how much did she set you back?
What?
Gracie, when you adopted her, when she depleted your life savings?
She didn't deplete our life savings.
Oh.
I mean, it costs a lot.
Okay, little embellishment, little exaggeration.
It wasn't not an exaggeration.
Sounds like you need to get a new financial planner.
We're good with our financial planner.
Okay, well, seriously, how much does it cost to adopt a child? Like a price range there. Give me an idea.
Somewhere between $20,000 and $45,000.
$45,000? Oh, my word. How in the world is a family supposed to come up with that kind of cash?
That's a good question.
And I think you've got a good answer. Yeah. Tell us about both hands.
Well, the easiest way to tell you about both hands is tell you how it started.
Okay.
Because I was on, like I said, the board of Bethany Christian Services. My job one year was to do the fundraiser. And I chose to do a golf fundraiser where you send letters out to people and say, would you sponsor me while I golf? Well, I sent my letters out, and a good friend of mine sent my letter back to me. Does not include a check. He just scribbles on my letter. He said, JT, if you told me you were working on a widow's house, I might sponsor you. But you're just golfing. Nice cause, but not my money. It kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. But at the same time, I thought, that's a great idea. And it stayed with me for a couple of years. I just couldn't get out of my head. A couple years later, I'm in church with a good friend of mine. I said, Don, what's up? He said, I'm adopting 4 kids from Moldova. Now, he's already got 3 children. I've already adopted. I knew it was going to be expensive. I said, Don, how much is this going to cost? He said, well, they're telling us between $70,000 and $80,000. So I said, do you have any idea how you're going to raise that money? He said, no. And I said, I think I got an idea. So long story short, we got about 14, 15 folks together. We all sent letters out to everyone we knew saying, would you sponsor me for the day while I work on this widow's house? I found a widow in Nashville who needed help. Got all the supplies donated because everyone liked the idea. And we spent the day working on Miss Lucille's house. And when it was all over, we had raised over $70,000. And that was the start of both hands. One for the widow, one for the orphan.
That's amazing. So now, does it rain much in Moldova?
I have no idea.
I've never been to Moldova, and is this really true? Did this really happen?
Yes, this really happened.
Okay, well, I guess it does, because according to my records, you've been doing this for like 10 years now. I mean, you ought to have that house done by now.
Yeah, we're finishing up almost 11 years now. And now we've done 946 projects in 44 states. 1,057 widows have been served. 1,181 kids are no longer orphans. And all the money we raise goes towards the cause. We don't take anything out for our expenses. We raise it on the side. And so far, we've raised $11.4 million.
Oh my, $11.4 million. Take that, life savings.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a whole lot that seems like there's a lot more to be told about the whole both hands story.
Yeah, maybe you ought to write a book or something.
I did, actually.
Oh, nice sneaky plug there.
Yeah, you know, it's a good book.
Yeah, it actually is. It's called The Widow, the Orphan, and Me. It's a really good book. It's one of those that you pick up, you just don't want to put down. The only problem I have with this, you forgot to include me in the credits.
There wasn't a lot of room.
Not a lot of 2 words, Robbie Sonnig. You can't put me in there?
Well, once you start thanking people, you got to kind of be careful.
JT, you thanked your siblings, your cousins, your 3rd grade teacher.
Family relations.
Your mailman.
Special favorite.
Your barber.
He does a good job.
Throw me a bone, would you?
Jeez. How about this? I'll give you a book. You give away a book.
Now you're talking. For everybody who comments on this video, like count me in, we'll go ahead and put your name in the hat. Next week we'll draw 1 lucky winner to take home a personally autographed copy from JT himself.
Yeah. And, you know, if you've read it and you got any comments, I'd love to hear about them.
Yeah. And if you don't win the book, but would still like a copy, I'll put a link in the description below. You can order it for yourself. And I guess this is as good a time as any to mention the book I've been working on.
You wrote a book?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not done yet, but don't worry, it has nothing to do with your book.
Good.
It's an anger management book. It's called Both Feet.
Both Feet?
Yeah, it's about stomping on spiders. One for the Black Widow, one for the Daddy Longlegs. And don't worry, I included you in the credits. And
oh, good.
You were instrumental in my anger.
Great.
In all seriousness, if you are interested in adoption and perhaps interested in pursuing both hands, I've got a link in the description below. JT would love to talk to you. And if you'd like a weekly dose of humor, truth, and encouragement, go ahead and subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. Then leave that comment so you can win his book, and we will see you next time for another installment of Manly Moments. Right?
That's right.
We'll see you.